Hey guys, what's going on? So today we are talking about power leveling, which in a few words basically just means getting one unit, focus firing that one unit to max level as fast as you can. So the first thing I want to talk about are Rifts of the Void. There are 3 different Rifts of the Void in this world here, and with the exception of 2S, they are all located on the S chapters. That would be 8S, 5S, and 3S. These stages are very expensive, costing 40 stamina per run, and you can do them up to 3 times per day. So these are by far the best to power level, although I don't think they are the most efficient. We're going to be doing some tests throughout the video, noting our experience gained per stamina, blah blah blah. We'll try some other stages as well, besides the cracks of the a crack in the world. Sorry. One thing to note is that while you can only do each of them 3 times per day, that 3 times per day is exclusive to the difficulty, so you can also do them 3 times per day on normal mode. However, what you should be aware of is that even though they all cost the same stamina, if you're doing 3 S's, a crack in the world on normal difficulty, you're going to get a lot less experience than if you're going to do 8 S's on world difficulty. And we're going to do that right now just to see the difference. So let's just go ahead and start with this team. We only have one non-max level, so all the experience will go to him. So if you bring an additional fodder, they will both get more in total, but the one you're power leveling will get less. And we can also see that. So let's go ahead and jump in here. I typically wouldn't do this, but this is for demonstration purposes, so we're gonna go ahead. All cracks in the world consist of 5 waves of varying levels of bosses, so it is quite a bit harder than your typical story stage. However, you still can bring an OP friend along if you are having trouble. I yielded that run to get these EXP boosts, because obviously you definitely want those running before you're doing cracks in the world. Alright, so let's try that again. Alright, so we're at the end of the run, and as you can see, our Crozet there got 15,590 experience, plus an additional 9,354, and that bonus is due to him being the only non-max level, that 9,300, and you'll see that later when we add in a Phantasma to share their experience. But that first demonstration was to show the least amount of experience you can get while power leveling on normal 3S. Now we're gonna go to world 8S and see the difference. Keep in mind, this costs the same stamina. However, of course, it is quite a bit harder. All right, we finished 8S on world difficulty, and as you can see, we get 36,000, but I'll be totally honest with you, I'm not sure if that orange number actually adds into the yellow number, so we're going to figure this out as well. Our Crozet's currently sitting at 13.1 thousand out of 56,000, so what we're gonna do is jot that down and figure that out real quick. At the same time, what we can also do is go on 8S world again while throwing in a fodder to see how that affects Crozet's experience. However, regardless if that orange number matters or not, it is very important to know that 8S on world gives more than twice as much experience as 3S on normal mode, while costing the same stamina. I did the math, and 3S normal gives 623.6 experience per energy, while 8S world gives 1,450 EXP per energy. Regardless if the orange numbers add on or not, the difference is still going to be the same. I actually just realized that Phantasma get EXP boost just because they're Phantasma, so the numbers aren't going to be exact 1-to-1, but I think for the most part when you're going for the cracks in the world, you're going to be taking Phantasma if you're going to be taking a fodder rather than like a 2-star monster or whatever, so it should be pretty realistically accurate at least. Alright, so here we go. You can see Crozet gets 21.7, Mega Phantasma gets 22. It would be 21 if you didn't have that EXP bonus. It's like 4% or whatever. They both get the same orange experience, so we're gonna check that now. But first, we're going to jot down these numbers. So our Crozet was previously at 13,133 experience, and he just now got 21,757. So it seems that those orange numbers you see below the total EXP are already added into the EXP number above it. So I'll make a few adjustments to my calculations, but you'll see it pretty much comes out to the same thing whether we add on those bonus numbers or not. But what's interesting to note is that those orange numbers that appear below your total XP, I do believe that's a reflection of the bonus experience you get from having max units in your team. Both Crozet and the fodder got 7,252 bonus experience, which is almost exactly 1/3 of the total experience they got. So how that calculation works, I don't know, but of course the more fodders you have, the more total experience you're gonna get. But if you're really determined and focused to raise one unit and you don't quite necessarily have the power to bring more than one fodder, then it's still perfectly fine. So as a summary, with Crozet alone, he got 36,262 experience on 8S World. Crozet with a fodder got 21,757 and the fodder got 22,192. If we bring the fodder down to Crozet's level, like for example if we're bringing someone besides a fodder, it would be a total of 43,514, them combined. So if you can do it, it definitely is more efficient that way. It really just depends on your priorities. So now what we're gonna do is go to all 3 cracks in the world on both difficulties, and I'll be back to you guys with some numbers about the EXP per energy amongst all of them. For the duration of the video, we are only going to be taking Crozet as our level up dude to keep it more consistent, and let's go ahead and start. So from 5S World, we get 35,080. 3S World, we get 32,717. 8S Normal gives 27.4 thousand. And finally, 5S Normal gives 21.4k. Alright, so what did we learn? I mean, it's pretty obvious that the harder stages will give you more experience for your energy, but it's interesting to see that there's not actually a huge difference between 8S World and 3S World. It's when you're doing them in the normal modes that the EXP per energy is much lower, with almost no difference between 8S World and 5S World. So what about normal adventure stages? How do they match up EXP to energy versus a crack in the world? I'm gonna guess that the EXP to energy is actually better on normal stages. We have an urgent mission here. I don't believe they give any extra EXP, but just in case they do, we're gonna do another one. But we have an urgent mission regardless, so we're gonna do that, and we're gonna see. So world stages, as well as I believe normal, all take 8 energy. So we're doing one of the hardest adventure stages we can, which is 9-8 world mode, and let's see what we get from that. So 9-8 world gives 7,252 experience, which is exactly the same EXP per energy than 8S World, the crack in the void. So if EXP is your only concern and you can run 8S World, it's better to do that. Just for the sake of being absolutely sure, we are going to run it again to make sure that because it was an urgent mission, it didn't mess with anything, or we're getting more or less experience because of that. And we got the same exact experience. Okay, so that doesn't seem to make a difference. So with all that being said, I still only recommend running these Rifts of the World, or whatever they're called, so the 40 stamina for tons of experience, when you're in a bit of a time pinch. So if you gotta go to bed and you notice you're at full stamina, go ahead and run them. But otherwise I would stick to the story stages. And that's mainly due to the fact that in this game you'll need tons of catalysts, and you won't be getting those catalysts from the rifts. So the EXP per energy is quite similar. In fact, it's almost the same, but of course the rifts are much faster. So if you're in a rush, really want to get that Crozet up to level 60, or if you just don't have the time, then rifts are a good option. Otherwise, stick with story mode, farm those catalysts you need, and level them up at the same time. I also like farming side story and bringing a fodder along, so we can check that out as well. As far as EXP to energy is concerned, I've heard it's normal or hard that's the best and not hell, but then hell gives you the most currency per energy. I like to go for that. We can check out the differences as well, starting with hell to start. So we get 11.6 thousand on hell, 9.9k on hard, 8,045 on normal, and 3,825 on easy. So looking at this block of text here, you can see that normal is by far the best for EXP to energy. However, if you want more currency, you probably want to bump it up to hard or hell. So it really depends on what your priorities are. But regardless, none of the side stories come close to the EXP per energy you can get in adventure. So if you're just focused on leveling and don't need currency anymore, then it'd probably be better just to stick to adventure. Unless, of course, how much gold you can get is another thing. If you're going for gold as well, using your currencies once you've purchased everything, that's kind of a different topic. But as far as EXP is concerned, indeed, later stages of adventure are by far better than anything in side story. However, you do also get the event currency, which, you know, is pretty important for all this good stuff here. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much where I'm gonna wrap it up. If you have any thoughts about the video in general, you can leave them down in the comments below. Any other questions or maybe other methods I missed? I mean, I know there's a lot of different content like Hunt, but I don't really want to compare that because I can't do stage 11 of Hunt yet. Any and all thoughts, you can drop them down in the comments below. Leaving a like if you happen to enjoy is always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.